Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of what I read in January. I read 10 books in January. The first video I'll link down below, and that has the first 5 books that I read. All of which I loved, and all of which I gave 5 stars on Goodreads. So yeah, this is the next 5. So my number 6 book that I read in January was another crime thriller. I've got a thing for crime thrillers at the moment. I kind of always have done, but at the moment I'm really into them. And this was amazing. This is Who Did You Tell by Lesley Cara. Now this follows Astrid, who is a recovering alcoholic. She has been sober for 190 something days, and she's moved back in with her mother into the fictional town of Flinstead, which coincidentally is the same village that Lesley Cara's first novel, The Rumour, was set in. And that book gets a mention in this, that story, and I love it when books do that and they sort of hark back to previous books, and they make a point of mentioning what went on previously. This one, you get sort of tasters of Astrid's life as an alcoholic. She lived in squats in London. Not a nice life to have had, but then drink. Anyway, so yeah, she moves in with her mother, but she starts to get threatening letters, and she feels that she's being followed. You get sort of flashbacks of what she has possibly done when she was blacked out from drink, and it's so good. The conclusion to this is amazing. It's a good old-fashioned story of revenge, and it's so well written. What I love about this is, apparently Lesley Cara wrote this before she wrote The Rumour, and yeah, The Rumour was published first. I love that kind of sort of soundbite about books and all that kind of stuff. But this was really good. I thoroughly recommend that you read this. It's so clever, and the conclusion is just so stunning. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was book number 6. Book number 7, again, 5 stars on Goodreads. I absolutely loved this. My mum is a massive fan of this writer, and has told me for years to read this one specific book. And up until this point, I'd only read 2 books by the author. And yeah, so when I saw this, I picked it up. It's Carrie by Stephen King. I adored this. This was amazing. The story is a teenage girl. She discovers that she has telekinetic powers. She can move things with her mind. She's badly bullied. She's ostracized. She's the odd one out. She's the black sheep in her school. And people pick on her. And they're relentless in their picking on of her. The book opens. She's having her first period, and unfortunately she's in the shower room after a gym class, and all the girls are being nasty to her, and they're throwing sanitary towels, and they're telling her to plug it up, plug it up, plug it up. I felt so sorry for Carrie. I could totally empathize with what she was going through. Obviously not with, like the periods and telekinesis and the murderous prom. That didn't happen to me, but I was bullied at school, so I could see how that would feel for someone. This is amazingly well written. It's told sort of, I think it's called an epistolary novel. It's told in sort of like letters, interviews, newspaper articles, that kind of thing. and it was his first published book in 1974, I believe. But I think he'd written several novels before then, but this was his first published work, and it's absolutely amazing. I loved this, and I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, and it's a classic, and I think it's where you should begin with Stephen King, and I wish I'd read it sooner. So, Mum, thank you so much for pressuring me into reading this. I finally got around to it, and I loved it. You were right, like you always are. Love you. So yeah, that was book number 6. Book number 7. Once I'd finished Carrie, I wasn't quite ready to part with Stephen King's writing because I loved it so much. So I saw this in Tesco and I picked it up. It's a short story and it's called Elevation, and obviously it's by Stephen King. I gave this 5 stars on Goodreads as well. This tells the story of a man who begins to notice that he's losing weight, but his body outwardly stays the same. It's like he's becoming kind of weightless, but his outward look is the same. He befriends 2 women that are married to one another. They have a restaurant in the town, and when it opened, it was doing really well, and the town people are kind of ostracizing them because they are gay, and that's just not how things are done. This was really good. I really enjoyed this, and it was a nice quick read, and I got more of Stephen King's writing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you get the chance to read this again, you have to do it. It's brilliant. I felt so sad at the end because it's just the main character kind of floats away, and it's so sad because the people around him he's befriended, and they love him and he loves them, and it's just so bittersweet. It's just, I loved it. It was brilliant. But yeah, great. So book number, what book number is that? 8. Book number 9 was a Ladybird's children's classic, just because it was the end of the month. I'd finished Elevation and I just wanted to read a couple of like palate cleansers, because I'd read quite heavy going stuff. I mean, Carrie was quite heavy going, that one not so heavy going, but yeah, I just wanted something to like cleanse my palate, my reading palate, so that I could go into February and have a nice sort of clean thought process for what I was going to read and get into there. So I read Swiss Family Robinson. This was lovely. It was a highly abridged version of the novel by, who is the man? Johan Wyss, or Johan Wyss. And the artwork in here, as in all Ladybird books, was just absolutely beautiful. Let me get, I mean, oh, the colours are so gaudy, but it's just, I can't find a really, really lovely one. They're all lovely, but okay. So this is the scene where the ship that they've sailed to the island in, or that they've been shipwrecked in, explodes in the bay, and it's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous use of colour, and I loved it. So yeah, that was really good, and I gave that 5 stars on Goodreads too. So. So book number 10 is the final book that I read in January. Is another Ladybird easy reading book, and it's a well-loved tale, and it's Jack and the Beanstalk. I don't need to explain what Jack and the Beanstalk is, clearly. I mean, surely everyone's read this. Everyone knows this story. Jack sells their cow for a handful of magic beans, and his mother is angry. She throws them out the window. A massive, giant beanstalk grows up into the sky. He climbs it. There's an ogre, and the ogre is a nasty man. He wants to grind his bones to make his bread. Fee, fi, fo, fum. He steals things from the ogre, and he and his mum become rich. Brilliant. So that was my part 2 of what I read in January. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed reading all these lovely books. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye.